Welcome, welcome, and good morning. You all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being patient as we navigated through technology because technology works when it works and prayer works when you use it. So we been over here praying, had a few technological difficulties this morning, but we refuse to be stopped, right? We refuse to be
Right.
Welcome to the Coaches Cafe on this Figured Out Friday. Coach Cassie J.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. So
Listen,
excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. First of all, I'm excited to have you. For those of you who are new to this space, I am your girl, Coach Regina, with Doing Life Well Coaching and Consulting. We pull up every Friday for Figured Out Friday, 6 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Might be a little delay with technological difficulties, but that has nothing to do with me. However, glad you're here. In this space, you are here for getting yourself together. That can look different on every different day. So if you're tired of really and honestly, of really trying to hold it all together, how do we really do life well? That's my whole message is how do we do life well? From the plate to the skate, whether you're moving, your mindset, your rest set, all these things matter. It's not one or the other. It is a compilation of these life factors. So if you've been trekking with me the last several weeks, I've been in a series having conversations as it relates to rest, REST. And I broke down the rest framework. Coach, were you in on the rest framework conversations?
Look, Coach had to catch replays because Coach is as a night owl, truest to the form. But these rest conversations you were having, just was such a blessing because look, it's all about the rest. If we don't
It's
have the rest, if we don't lean into the rest, it really throws off everything else that we are endeavoring to do. It does. So I was here for it in the replay.
Absolutely. We love the replay now. All I ask for the replay, just make sure you drop your little comments too. So y'all welcome YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're joining us at Instagram, wherever you are joining us. We are so happy to have you here this morning. And if you're catching the replay, thank you and drop in the comments. The rest framework, if you missed it, like Coach Cassie J said, and just go back and catch that replay. But I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis. The R in the framework was really to release the load. Oftentimes we're carrying things, one that God never assigned us to carry, and we continue to carry those things. It becomes a taxation and a burden on us. Then we begin to have a sense of obligation that we're obligated to carry these things that we were never assigned to carry in the first place. Then we broke down the E, which is establish your rhythms. What does that look like? A morning rhythm and an evening rhythm so that you can get your body into a system of understanding this how we gonna move. This how we gonna move. So oftentimes we don't have rhythms. Ain't that right, coach? We don't have no rhythms. We just be we like to use language all over the place.
Well, we have rhythms. Let's be clear. We have
Mhm.
rhythms. The challenge is when you are not leaning into the rest portion and being intentional about it, you're
Yeah,
not honoring the rhythm that you have.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You're not honoring
And
it.
you're not honoring, and therefore you wound up
hmm
all over
All
the
over the place.
all over. And
Absolutely.
and so then we leaned into the third week, we leaned into the S, which was surrender control. Like stop trying to micromanage the outcome.
hmm
It's funny to me, we call it responsibility. I'm obligated for these things, but actually it's costing you your rest. When you have to be in control, when you're trying to figure out the outcome all the time, the outcomes are not up to us. We put in the
Mm-mm.
work and then we step back and allow what the outcome
hmm
to come. So,
Absolutely.
we just really try to micromanage the outcome. God didn't call us to be micromanagers. He called us to be students.
Mm. Okay. And calling a thing, let's just call it what it is. It's a trauma response.
It's a trauma, girl. You better lean into that conversation.
It's a
Listen,
trauma response when we think that we need to control everything. If I can just keep this going, if I can just make sure this is in place, when I can make I know what everybody's doing at every single solitary moment, whether it's in work, whether it's on your teams, whether it's at the house, you know, in community over there where you're volunteering, right? Um, it's a trauma response. It's
It's a
helping,
trauma.
it's you trying to regulate your system oftentimes because you're not leaning into the rest. You don't know that that's an option, and so here are the other ways I can control things. So I can stay on top of it. I know what's happening because I hold all the cards. And again, you can't control the narrative, you
You
know.
can't. Yeah.
Mm-mm. They're
That,
going to things out of your control, and the sooner you release that, like you said, releasing it,
yeah.
surrender,
Release
the
that love.
sooner, oh my gosh, you can start leaning into honoring what your system is saying to you
Yeah.
because you can't even hear it when you're trying to control everything.
Yeah. Because your system is speaking. It's talking.
Oh
It's
yes,
talking.
most deaf.
It's
Mm-hmm.
saying high blood pressure. It's saying weight gain. It's saying
Mm-hmm.
cortisol. What are we doing here? It's saying
Mm-hmm.
I am just exhausted. It is saying all the things, but we continue to not listen.
Mm-hmm. It's saying I'm gonna get an involuntary vacation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's saying FMLA. It's saying hospitalization. It's saying my
Right, because
ankle
we
is swollen and I cannot walk because, so it's
mm-hmm.
the body responds and we don't listen, y'all.
Mm-mm. No, we
So
don't listen. Yeah.
yeah,
And just with love and grace,
yeah.
the very real reality is, this is conditioning, you
Okay.
know, giving ourselves grace to understand that we didn't get here overnight. No, nobody just woke up and said, I'm going to be overextended, exhausted, and frazzled for years. That's what I'm going to do. Nobody intentionally signs up for that, right? But this is that those expectations that we, sometimes have put on us, the things that we accept and adopt,
Yeah.
especially those who have these degrees and certifications from
Yeah.
People Pleasers University.
Mm.
Okay.
Not the university of the people pleaser.
Okay. We'll have these degrees and certifications proudly, multiple, right?
Yes.
And so you feel like these are the things I have to do in order to be in community, to be a part of the fam, to show up the best at work, to show up for my family, and it be people pleasing. It's people pleasing, and you can't rest when you're so concerned about what everybody else is doing, so concerned about how to show up for everybody else when you're not even actually on the list. Okay, you're not on the
Yeah.
list, you know,
Yeah.
let alone first on the list where you should be. You're not on the list
Yeah.
when you're people
Oh,
pleasing. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And then, so RES, and then we broke down the T, which was the last part, transform through truth. Our body believes what our mind repeats. And so we can't rest if our mind is constantly at war with our worth. So having these unrealistic expectations, our nervous system is just going to respond to that thing. And so we're telling ourselves this faulty information and living out of truth.
Absolutely.
So
Oh, yes. Yes. That faulty information, again, those messages that we continue to tell ourselves. What is it? What is that record that's on repeat?
yeah,
Back in 1872, we had
yes,
records, right? Now they're making a comeback, but that record would be just spinning on, and you put the needle down and
yeah,
it's just spinning. What is that record? What is that voice? What is that message that is repeating to you over and over, that as soon as you think that you're going to sit down somewhere, as soon as you think that you're going to have some respite, that now have these messages going, mm-mm, no, you can't do that. You don't have
yeah,
time for that. There are other things that you need to be doing. What are those? What's those records that are going, those untruths that are telling you that you are unworthy of rest? And,
and we're believing
and
it.
we're believing
So
it.
Go ahead.
Oh no, and unworthy
And
of
we believe
care
it.
and support.
Yeah, I have to earn this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all, we just did like just a brief overview. That's not even the conversation for today. The conversation is going to be all Cass and Jay diving into things. But let me just tell y'all who individual EI is, all right? In this space. First of all, thank you for joining me in the Coaches Cafe. Pretty soon we'll be live podcasting, but right now we're on YouTube as well as Instagram Live. And so we thank you for pulling up. We'll be pulling up on the Facebook. So I got some ask of you all at the end of the show. But listen. Cassandra, Coach Cassie J, is a recovery life coach, and she'll get into all of that and let y'all know who and what all that really means. She's an advocate and a champion for mental wellness and women's emotional healing. I'm gonna repeat that for those in the back because I know y'all didn't hear. Y'all still waking up. She's an advocate and a champion for mental wellness and women's emotional healing. As a survivor turned thriver of her battles with trauma and mental illness, Cassandra is working to encourage other Black and Brown women to stand in their truth, breaking the silence barrier and trauma that has kept many trapped. Since founding the nonprofit organization Black Women Do Heal in 2019, Cassandra has been facilitating those meaningful conversations to destroy the lie of superwoman myth through coaching, training, healing conversations, respite events, and wellness activities. And so, y'all, listen, over 40 years of lived experience in mental health, over 8 years as a certified peer support specialist and recovery coach professional, and a trainer of trainers, a certified rap facilitator, a breath work facilitator. I want to get some of that. And a target health facilitator. Coach Cassie J is also the CEO of Pure Valley Educational Services, a mental health support, coaching, and consulting agency located in Louisiana. Welcome to the stage. Let's have this conversation. Coach Cassie J. Hey.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. I am so excited to be here
Yes.
with you in the Coaches Cafe with the plant-based boss. Okay. Thank you so much for having me on the show. So it is always just very interesting to hear yourself, your information being read. It's like, oh, yeah, I did do that. Thanks. But thank you so much for sharing that lovely introduction, Coach. And it seems like we have a few technical difficulties, but I know the coach is coming right back.
Yes,
There
yes.
she is, right
Yeah,
on cue.
y'all keep it moving because when you live
Yes.
out in these countries, we got to work on our cellular provider. But anyway, let's go. Let's go, Coach Cassie. So, talk to the people, right? I
Mhm.
want this just to be a natural conversation because I know you are a restologist. And I have been having this conversation probably about the last, 2 months or so.
Mhm.
And it's just from my own personal experience where I went to the doctor. Blood pressure was immaculate.
Mm.
When I say immaculate, it was 101 over 78. So your girl
Oh.
thought she was, living her best health, working out every day,
Mhm.
eating the things that I'm supposed to be eating, as many
Mhm.
folks know that I'm a whole food plant-based. I live that lifestyle. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
eat them plants, baby, and I'm gonna drink that water. Make sure you got your water, good people. And so
Coach is just sharing her journey to how she started to lean into rest, you know?
mine was running, and I was supposed to be resting until I got the report from my medical provider. And
Mm.
so, all too often, we're doing the things that we know to do, and we believe those are all the right things to do.
Mhm.
And people can tell you, you need to rest. And but if you're not tired, or if you don't feel tired, you
Mhm.
may not feel like you need to rest. That
Right.
was your girl. I'm raising my hand. I wake up with the energy. I go to bed with the energy. And I just have the energy.
Mhm.
So I didn't recognize the impact, long term potential impact that not resting could have on me.
Oh,
And
yes.
so that's when I really started leaning into it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I was told that, if you don't do something different,
Mhm.
your long term is going to impact your cardiovascular health. And so now I've been preaching the gospel of rest. And I know you've been in this space for quite a long time. So I just kind of wanted to give the people a backdrop of why is it important to me, first of all.
Mhm.
And so that you, my dear friend, broham, sister girl, lady girl, you don't have to go through the same experiences, right? So
Mhm.
I'm going to turn this conversation over to Coach Cassie J, and I'm going to digress and just have at it because we need to have this a real conversation.
Oh, thank you so much, Coach Regina. And something that you just shared about, sharing your story as how you started to really lean into rest and take it, just to another level, is just so real. So many people are walking around and don't realize that it is the rest part that's missing that is keeping them from not just the care that they physically need, but just your emotional, mental, spiritual health, you know, those relationships and everything. And it's because you're tired. You're tired. When you're exhausted, when your body is not regulating and doesn't have the time, it's hard to have the capacity to be in community, be in relationships, to show up as your best self when you are exhausted. And there's only so long that we can wear the mask. There's only so long that we can armor up with the cape, right? It will start to show up in different ways. And sometimes that is with those things that you didn't even know your body's saying, hey, what's going on here? So, my
Mhm.
own journey into rest. For those of you who, just may not know, um, I came into this work through my children's mental health, being literally just thrust into the mental health system, no frame of reference, no point. Getting the wraparound services for them for two children. And that meant that 4 days a week we had people in and out of the home in addition to working and then going back to school, being active at the time in my church, 4 or 5 times a week, and not including the other things that I did on the side in ministry. And this was just a regular thing for me. This was how life was, and so much so that my nickname was the Energizer Bunny, like because she just go 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 go, you know, and because I did not know, yes, because I did not know really how to really slow down. And what would happen is I would keep going and keep going and keep going. And then my body would say, you know what, we done. You weren't listening to all these
Mhm.
signs. And I would get an involuntary vacation. It would just be a shutdown, you know? And I would shut down
Mhm.
for a few days, literally like completely out of it, and then I would get up and the cycle would just repeat. And it
Mhm.
might go for a very long time before the shutdown happened, but the shutdown was coming. And how that shutdown looked sometimes was the migraines, my heart feeling like it's doing the most and getting those miniature involuntary vacations in the ER or having to stay overnight for observation,
Mhm.
getting checked out. And so all these little minute not very minute, it did not feel minute at the time,
Mhm.
involuntary vacations were happening. And it was taking me down through there. It really was. And along the way, when I finally started my intentional healing journey, after about 3+ years of going through this back and forth with my children, I started my intentional healing journey. And when I did, something started to slowly make sense. And that was that, oh, I'm tired.
Mhm.
I'm for real tired.
Yeah.
And before that, my rest, when I would have these needs to lay down,
Mhm.
again, really a shutdown, or find myself with an involuntary vacation, those things were honored, you know, because, oh, yeah, you deserve to, because I've done all these things. So, going to sit down intentionally, going to take a break, going to say that I don't have the capacity, none of those things were honored. But when I shut down, it's, oh, yes, yes, because you've been going so much, you know, and it was glorified.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was glorified. The exhaustion was exhausting and it
Mhm.
was glorified,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, that
Yeah.
this is what it looks like to, whether it was to serve the Lord, whether it was to show up in the community, whether it was working the 2.5 jobs, right?
Right.
This is what it's supposed to look like. And it was taking me out.
Yeah.
It was
Don't
really
say no.
taking me
Don't
out.
have the courage to say no.
Oh no, no. Oh no. Don't
How
say no.
dare you? And you supposed to
Mhm.
be a Christian, and the Lord done called you to do your assignment in His house. How dare you? After you done spent days with your kiddos and your, all the things.
Mm-mm. Oh
Yeah.
no, no. Everything was from the vein of this service comes first.
Mhm.
And what we forget, especially in I think our Christian spaces, is
Mhm.
that even the Lord rested.
You better tell it.
Like like for real. Like
For
he
real.
went and
He
go
checked.
sat down somewhere,
Yeah.
you know. He
He
was also mindful of who he had with him when he rested,
come on now.
you know. Because everybody doesn't have the capacity to be with you in this space when you need to disconnect.
Can you say that again?
Everybody does not have the capacity to be with you in that space when you need to disconnect, you know. And it's not because they're some terrible people.
Mhm.
It is because of where their capacity is at the time, and that's okay.
Mhm.
It just may be that they're not in the space to be supportive of you, to hold space with you when you need to disconnect.
Mhm. Mm. Why do you believe there is this mantra around you got to earn rest and
Well,
the go get it grind is normalized?
mm, so again, I think that this is a lot of conditioning. One, just overall, our lifestyle here
Mhm.
in the US of A, right, is this very, very, like you said, this grind, go getter kind of thing. That is just kind of an overarching thing, this idea of going to get the American dream. So let's just call the thing a thing that has been passed down to us from time to time to time. But also looking at we as just Black people, particularly Black women,
Mhm.
you know, think about how often we've been caught in the trap of this toxic Black excellence. Mm. Think about it. Look, I had to do that too, We get caught in that trap
Yeah.
about this is what it is to show up, and what you're not going to do is catch me not doing 10 times more, 10 times better, because that's what we have to do. We're told that. How many of us remember hearing things like that from when we were young? That
Mhm.
this is how we have to show up. It's
Yep.
just an expectation. Well, this that didn't start yesterday.
Mhm.
That didn't start yesterday.
Ooh, child.
And by mimicking or attempting to chase after these things that the dominant culture has done, we have really disconnected from the care and support and the natural ebbs and flows and rhythms that we have. And it's a returning back to that care that we're doing now, but
Mhm.
that thing that we just feel like we have to show up all these times better.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, we have to do that because when you walk into the space, you are representing everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. it becomes this really, really toxic trap that does not allow you the permission to go rest, doesn't allow you the permission to lean into your humanity,
Yeah.
and that's from the biggest things like literally having the break
Hmm.
to the smaller things of that you ain't got it in you today,
Yeah.
but you still gonna put on all the things, the makeup, maybe the hairstyle, maybe how you're dressing, knowing that you don't have it in you, and what you really like to do is dress down, but because not the floor. Yes, but because
Okay.
we it's been in us. It's been put in us.
Yeah.
We
I
no, I
had to
can't do
slide
it
all the way out my chair on that one. I really did. And
all the way.
all the way out my chair because I was that girl. Yeah, you didn't catch me at a meeting without a suit on. You heard?
Mm.
You didn't catch me in a meeting without those heels on, and I had that collar flap. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I had that blazer on. I had them 3-inch heels on for all day workshops, all day meetings, and I was just, uh, you step into the room, it's like E.F. Hutton. You gonna do that. You're showing up because
Mhm.
you represent, honey.
Mhm. Yes.
Freedom came eventually. It took me up until here lately.
Yes.
I was that person. I raised my hand, and I do acknowledge that.
Mhm.
And I was having a conversation yesterday with someone who went to a leadership conference,
Mhm.
and I specifically asked. There were 3 speakers. I said, "What did they have on?" I was intentional with that question because it's not what you have on; it's can you help me?
That's it. That is it.
So if I show up with my $2 Chucks on out of Walmart and my jeans and my T-shirt, and I
Mhm.
got a message that's gonna transform your life, you're not concerned about what I got on.
It's that part, one of the ways that in this space, as you know, co-exec, okay?
Ew.
All right. Uh, but one of the ways that we push back against that harmful narrative is we show up in these spaces. I have a conference I'll be presenting at tomorrow. Well, I'm sorry, facilitating a healing
Facilitating a healing
conversation
conversation.
because that's what I do. I facilitate
Yeah.
healing conversations.
Yeah.
But I have a conference I'll be at tomorrow, and I will be in my Black Women Do Heal t-shirt and my yoga pants or my leggings, right?
Yeah.
And that is, I'm still professional. This
Hmm.
idea of professionalism is, again, another one of those toxic things. But I'm coming in, I'm going to have my message.
Hmm.
We're going to have these healing conversations, but we're pushing back on that. Why is it that, we think that we have to show up this way? We don't. We've been told that this is professional, and it doesn't stop there. So from your dress to your hair, all of these things and the energy that it takes to constantly be aware of those things that you can be redeeming so that you now have the energy and the focus to be present,
Hmm.
to truly be in community, to truly use your listening because you're not thinking about all these other factors, you know. And again, at the end of the day, people want to know, can you help me?
Period.
Oh, and do you care?
And do you care? Yeah.
Hmm. Do you
Do you
care?
do you care?
And can you help me? And that don't got nothing to do with what you have on. Not one single solitary thing,
Mhm.
And so showing up as you, being you, and we ain't gonna talk. Oh my gosh, showing up as you all the time
Yeah.
gives you also a permission and a level of rest.
Say that again, cause like,
Showing up as you
yeah.
all the time gives you permission and a level of rest. Okay? Think about how you're not having to manage the persona,
Hmm.
the energy that it takes to manage the persona and the expectations of who they think you are versus you having and walking in rather that freedom of who you actually are.
Hmm. That's
Now,
good.
yeah. Now you don't have you're not second guessing. You're not having the what will they think conversations in your head. Again, the one of those, electives from People Pleasers University, right? You're not having those conversations in your head because you are in that space, in that moment
Yeah.
as you. And
As
this
you.
is where you are in each space. And I look, like we had the little hand up. Yeah, I could have done that before because that was very much me being so mindful all the time of what people were going to think, what
Hmm.
they were going to say,
Hmm.
that there was not enough room there for me to fully be me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. If I could show up with like my workout clothes and heels on, I might do that, but
Hmm.
because it's comfortable. But
Right.
no, seriously, like I'm cool with my jeans and a shirt and
Hmm.
just this is what because I do care,
Hmm.
and it is not about and I had to get to this place.
Hmm. Oh,
Like,
yes.
here lately, I had to get to this place to really just honor who I am through and through.
Hmm.
I found that she shows up like the cut up spirit. That's who I am. Like I enjoy, and um showing up in a way. Yeah. So I just enjoy letting people know that it is okay to be you, whatever that looks like
Hmm.
for you. And so I had to come to that place, through
Absolutely.
the work that through we call it through the work that you do. And
Yes.
you have to do the work. Like you have to do the work to do it differently. And I
Hmm.
had to do some work to show up differently. Not that I wasn't who I was, but I
Hmm.
didn't have to no longer dress. You know what I mean. I
Yeah.
don't have to dress up. I don't have to. If you invite me to your show, I'm
Hmm.
going to show up in the best way possible for me in that moment.
It's that part, yes, honor the spirit thereof, but it's still going to be what's comfortable to
What's
me.
comfortable.
Because if it might be to the formal event, I'm gonna have on I'm gonna have on my sandals up under this gown
Mhm.
because
That's
I shall be comfortable.
thou
Mm.
shalt be comfortable. Thou
Yes,
shalt be in a restful place.
thou shalt be in a restful place. I can't be in a restful place if my feet are hurting.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen, and I'm not gonna be here long. You
Yeah.
know. These days, it means I might not get out this vehicle. Okay. But like you said, that didn't start overnight. It started by really taking account of
Yeah.
those harmful things and how they were harming me, how I
Yeah.
allowed them to harm me, you know, honoring, like, look, this narrative that this is how I have to show up is not helping me. I don't
Yeah.
even like these things.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you genuinely do the work, the internal work, to figure out, yes, this is something I genuinely enjoy,
Yeah.
it brings me happiness, I love this, then yes, by all means, for you
Yeah.
that's restful. But for
Yeah.
a lot of us,
Yeah.
it's
It's
it's not.
taxing.
It's taxing. It is very, very taxing. And until you have the time to sit down, until you create the time, because
Mhm.
let's be clear, you're not going to find the time. You have
Right.
to create the time to get quiet enough to sit with you. You're not taking the time to do the inventory you need to see what works best. And like you said, you had to get to this point. I had to get to this point. It did not start overnight. I'm well over 10 years into my intentional healing journey
Yeah.
you know and so it started with just those slow observations and playing around with and tweaking what felt good to me. But when I first started, yes, I was showing up to these spaces in my quote unquote business casual,
Mhm.
you know trying to look this idea of the part, and none of that mattered for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until I had the opportunity, created the opportunity to get quiet enough to take inventory. And so that's asking yourself those tough questions.
Mm.
What is it that I actually like?
Yeah.
What is it that actually brings me joy?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is it that I light up at?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because, you know. But when you are super on the go, busy all the time, the challenge is it takes away from your capacity to be able to sit long enough
Yeah.
to really ask yourself the questions. But my healing was through those questions.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
healing, my getting to my calling
Yeah.
was through those questions, was through sitting long enough to ask myself those questions and returning back to it.
Yeah. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Whenever you see this, sit with yourself. Drop in the comments. These are questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
These
Mm-hmm.
are questions we want you to begin to ask yourself.
Yes.
If you're in a long-term relationship, whatever that looks like for you, it's not about what the other person deems best or like for you. Do you even know what you like anymore?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people, after it is what it is, after 30 years of marriage or 19 years of marriage, and the kids are grown and gone, they don't even like each other because we've just been doing this thing. Not
Mm-hmm.
rest, not helpful. I'm not saying anything about, you just have to do these assessments, like real ongoing assessments in your life,
Mm-hmm.
because your health is really on the line when it comes to your space of rest and capacity and what is going to help your well-being.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That part, and even if you're not in a relationship, I've worked with women and I myself remember being there, particularly when we were thrust initially into the mental health system with my boys, and somebody is asking me what it is I like to do, you know. There were
Yeah,
very few things on that list, you know, because my time and my energy was just all consumed, you
yeah,
know. And the question is like, well, not the question, but the answer oftentimes we would get is, well, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't even know what I like to do anymore because all my energy has been outward focused so long,
yeah.
and you've adopted these things that you don't necessarily care for. For example, when I was, married to number two, we watching wrestling. I don't even like wrestling. I don't even like it. It's like
And it ain't even real. Forget
it's
that.
not real. This is a man soap opera. Call it what it is. Call it what it is. Stop playing. But here we are. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? And
And he wasn't
I'm
even cooking.
he wasn't even cooking. You know, don't get right. I love Dwayne Johnson. But
Right.
it was just that idea that I would lean into these things.
Yeah,
And I love the theater. When was
yeah.
the last time I had been to the theater during
Mm,
that whole relationship?
yeah,
you know and then when the kids uh, got a little older and that relationship ended, still was not making intentional time to return back to some
mm,
of the things that
that
brought me joy,
brought you joy.
that I actually liked you know
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. Let's shift a little bit. In the work that you do, how do you help? Because there's this narrative, but how do you help women move from seeing rest as a luxury to embracing it as a form of, like you just mentioned, reclaiming, reclamation, returning to?
Mm-hmm. So one is awareness. you know that is the first thing. Oftentimes we are under the impression that, again, it is a luxury thing.
Mhm.
There's still so many of us that find ourselves thinking that we have to earn it, you know? So just that awareness. And I like to say this, especially to people who are, looking to become rest practitioners or coaches or what have you. You think that you just have to dump it all on them. No, we're but seed planters, you know? Is presenting the information and just letting them know that they have the permission to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like you literally have the permission, like saying those words
Mm-hmm.
that you have permission. Also, the other part is modeling that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm around. Yes, I'm traveling. Yes, I'm doing these things for work. And
Mm-hmm.
I build in time to have go sit down and have several seats.
Okay.
When we got through with our session yesterday, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I didn't immediately, as soon as I got off the laptop, go and start the fellowship. I had some time to myself
Mm-hmm.
first because
Mm-hmm.
I know that that is what I need. So
Yeah.
starting to introduce those gentle nudges that of information, that these are some of the things that I do in modeling. These are some, look at this and how can you fit things into your life. The other thing is just reminding with grace that you didn't get booked and busy overnight. You didn't get to this point where you were involved in every single solitary thing, from the PTA to the activities and after school events, right? And extracurricular things, and becoming mom's taxi, right? You didn't get there overnight, right?
And not to mention entrepreneur, and you work full time.
And let's call that, because entrepreneurship is beautiful. And as a matter of fact, I saw a post that Ma Random shared the other day that was talking about entrepreneurship and just all the things that you don't see,
Yeah.
that an entrepreneur goes through, and it is beautiful. And you
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
you are HR, you are the graphic designer, you
Mm-hmm.
are, you are payroll, you are the actual product that it is that you're delivering. And if you stop, it doesn't go right.
True.
House and never, house and never. You can find 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of the things that I encourage, 5 minutes to feel.
Mm-hmm.
You may not have where you can see at the time the opportunity to even feel like you can take 30 full minutes, an hour to
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You might
Mm-hmm.
not be there. Your nervous system might not even, it needs it, but it might not even be ready for it yet. And that's
Yeah.
okay. But we can find 5 minutes. We scroll for 5 minutes, you know? All right. We do
Yeah.
that.
Somebody told me they doom scroll for an hour. I was like, well, baby, get up and get on my live at 6 o'clock. Let me help you out. Stop all that doom.
Right.
A
Well,
whole anyway.
the doom scroll, but yeah, seriously. So finding those moments that you have,
Yeah.
because they're there, but start with 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Set your timer.
Okay.
Okay. Set the timer. Taking a deep cleansing breath in through your nose, hold it, release through your mouth. And then in that 5 minutes, that is your 5 minutes. All this stuff can burn to the ground. It
Okay.
can burn it to the ground until you get through with your 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
When that
5
timer goes,
minutes.
5 minutes,
5 minutes, audience, not
5 minutes to
35, 55. Can you give
mhm,
yourself, this is your permission. 5 minutes today, 5 minutes tomorrow,
mhm,
5 minutes Sunday. That's
mhm,
15 minutes that you've given yourself that you probably had not even factored in. We're
mhm.
inviting you into this restful space for
That's
your
it.
well-being. Like, so that's very practical and very doable.
Mhm,
And it's not taxing on the mind. Like, I don't have 30 minutes to do a meditation. 5 minutes.
mm-mm. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to feel.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the words for meditation, you haven't found some meditation sounds that work for you can just do a body scan. Pay attention to how you're feeling from literally the top of your head, and you're going down to the bottom of your feet. Just taking note of where you are without judgment,
Without judgment.
being there. And then when the timer goes off, taking a deep breath,
Mhm.
release, and going about your day. And here's the beautiful part. You may mention that you can do that once a day. You can increase gently, and so maybe you're getting 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, five
Mhm.
minutes in the evening, but no judgment. Start where you are, but ease into those 5 minutes when you really recognize, like, I don't have any capacity. I might be, doing things for loved ones that are counting on me. I might still have kids at home or
Mhm.
grandbabies that I'm helping. I may have the demanding job or
Yeah.
still be in school and, having the side hustle or entrepreneurship on that track. But 5 minutes. And
Right.
let us not discount your other office. And your other office, when you get into your vehicle, and then you get to the house and then you don't get out immediately, you know, let's remove the shame from that, because that is a necessary part of you regulating before you go in the house to be present.
Yeah.
So removing the shame for you doing what you need to do, and maybe your 5 minutes is in that vehicle
Yeah.
before you get out, before you have to connect, removing the shame that you're doing it, like, oh my gosh, this is awful that I have to do that. Mm-mm-mm. This is a way that you are taking care of you intentionally with love, so that, yes, when I walk through these doors, I can be present with, whether it's your spouse, your significant other, your children, the grandbabies, or even just with yourself. You
Yeah.
know, give yourself the grace to start where you start. So those are just some of this very small, like you said, practical ways that
Mm-hmm.
we encourage women to lean into rest. You didn't get here overnight. It's not going to change overnight, and that's okay. It did not for me. It didn't for any of us that are on this side of it and continuing on this side. And for those of us that are practitioners, also giving ourselves the grace too, because life is life in,
Yeah.
and sometimes we need those gentle nudges, that even while you are being intentional with your care. Last season, I recognized that I had to step it up some.
Mm-hmm.
Even with intentional rest and care, there was more that I needed to do. And for me, that more was learning to take things off my plate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Without guilt again,
Without guilt.
because we hold this, if I don't do it.
Hmm. It's not going to get done, or it's not going to get done the way I think it should be done. But here it
Yeah.
is. Does the way you think it should be done have to be done that way?
Mhm. Right. Again, you spoke about this excellence thing, you know,
Hmm.
and this. I'm not saying don't have standards.
Oh, have standards.
Have
And
standards for sure.
hmm.
Uh, but that thing, being able to cultivate, develop those around you so that you
Hmm.
can step away and take care of yourself without guilt,
Oh,
without shame,
absolutely. Without shame.
that shame that we tend to attach to it.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, so many of us have been raised in this, survival mode. Be
Hmm.
strong, don't complain, just make sure it happens. You get it done, you see it need to be done, you just go do it.
Right.
Keep going, keep pushing. What
Hmm.
does it look like to unlearn survival in real time? And what
Mm.
role does rest play?
Okay. Um, I love to use this analogy when we're talking about survival, right? For one, you have to recognize that you're in survival. And there are some things that have become just so common to us, you don't realize that you have brought them over from survival, right? So, the example I like to use is, if you've been lost in the woods, right? You've been lost in the woods, and during this time, you had to now figure it out, right? On this Figure Out Friday.
Hey.
But you had to figure it out, which meant that you had to use the bathroom. You had to dig the hole in the ground to use the bathroom and cover it up, right? You had to find something, a container for water, dig a hole in it, let the dew get that fresh water in there, or go maybe in the stream and get some water, right? Maybe you had to get a spile and put in that tree for some water to come out, right? And then you're rescued,
Okay.
all right? And now you're back home, all
Okay.
right? Well, those tools that kept you, those skills that kept you very much alive, even sane while you were
Mhm.
in the woods, they do not serve you at the house. You're not having to go into the backyard and dig a
Mhm.
hole to use the bathroom and cover it up. You can
Mhm.
go into the bathroom.
Mhm.
You're not having to go and put the spile in the tree,
Mhm.
right? Because you can go to the sink and turn on the water.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we're talking about kind of that separation from survival mode, what are those small things that you have brought with you over from the struggle,
Mm.
right? What are those things that you brought with you that have no place as you were get, attempting to lean into rest, as
Yeah.
you are attempting to lean into this idea of self care and understanding and understanding that it is a requirement, not a luxury? What are those, some of those messages that you tell yourself? You know, and some of those, for example, um, I can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you can give yourself a foot massage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can stretch
Mm-hmm.
and breathe and rub your shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can take a few seconds and massage your own scalp, right? You know, just a
Mm-hmm.
few, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Mm.
So see, and just how good that feels in that moment, you know. Social care, social self-care. You can take a few seconds and check in with that friend,
Yeah.
even if it's a text,
Yeah.
you know, and give them the grace to respond when they get back, but you can do your part
Yeah.
in that care, right? And so those things that we are gently leaving behind that was in the struggle, we because we brought them over,
Yeah.
but we don't need them here,
Yeah.
you know. So that gentle disconnection from struggle, first understanding what things you brought over, and two, that it doesn't belong here. For me, what that looked like was I brought over from this, from struggle, I brought over the go, 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 go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I transitioned initially into entrepreneurship, still on the go, 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 go.
Yep.
Hmm. And I remembered when I first shifted my schedule, right before I shifted my schedule into what is best for me. One of my mentors at the time saw me struggling, you know. That's it was a struggle. I brought it from struggle, and I was struggling,
Yeah.
um, because I was still setting my schedule to start my day, you know, at waking up at 6 or 7, starting my day by 8. You know, keep in mind I am a natural night owl. That is my natural circadian rhythm, right? But I was doing that, mind you. I'm not going to bed until 2, 3, 4,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
still getting up. And so we were in conversation one day, and he picked up on how tired I was. And so he's like, you didn't go into business for yourself in order for you to still have to do it the way you were doing it.
Yeah.
And it was like, psh. And from that time, I started to be very, very intentional about, okay, how can I make this work for me? And that's when I started to pay more attention to my rest, to my sleep. Um, I knew when I was awake, awake. I did know that because I've been a night owl all my life. Um, and so it took about a month or so, but
Mm-hmm.
I started to shift my schedule to those times that are best for me. And so that means for my wellness, with me leaving behind from struggle, was this idea that my day has to start at this time, that everybody says your day has to start, right?
Yeah.
And so that's not what that means for me anymore, unless we catching flights, or unless I'm here with Coach.
Because I was like, I know this not your jam. It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
It is ain't.
Ever.
It is ain't.
I gotta have this restology conversation. So I so appreciate you stepping outside. You.
And look, and again, part of that care, I'm
Yeah,
happy to be here because we show up for each other in community.
that's right.
And I'm gonna get my nap in before I continue my day because
Yeah.
that's how I take care of me,
Yeah.
and that's how I stay well. But yes, so now my typical bedtime is between 2:30 in the
Mm-hmm.
morning,
Mm-hmm.
which gives me enough time to get up, around 8:30, 9 o'clock, have some woosah time, and then start my day. Now,
Yeah.
again, the shift in that is if I have to catch a flight, catch a
Yeah.
train,
Yeah.
whatever, or because of these ebbs and flows of my neurospiciness, it's just one of
Mm-hmm.
those off times that I was up. But
Yeah.
usually, I'm going to be, that's my usual schedule. And what happened, this is the beauty of taking the time to pay enough attention to ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
leaning into we are, how much I got done increased.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't as agitated. I wasn't as irritable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I was starting to feel better.
Yeah.
You know, what that looked like is I started having less involuntary vacations,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, a decrease in my migraines.
Mm-hmm.
My eating schedule, for the most part, got better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are still moments because my neurospiciness does neurospicy,
Right.
but that for the most part, like it got so much better because now I had capacity
Yeah.
that I did not have before. So paying enough attention to you to ask yourself those questions. But yes, what are those things that you've brought over from struggle
Mm-hmm.
that you can gently leave behind?
Mm-hmm.
And no shame when you notice it, no shame,
Yeah.
just a recognition. Oh, I am doing this and it's no longer serving me.
Yeah.
It's not helping me live my best life. It's not helping me
Yeah.
show up as my best self.
Yeah.
Okay, how can I slowly peel this back?
Yeah.
And again, it's no judgment, it's no right or wrong. It is a tweaking and a gentle pivot for how you need to love yourself well.
How you love yourself well.
Hmm.
I got one last question, and then I'm just gonna. I do want you to share more with the community about Black Women Do Heal and um, who she is and how she came about.
Hmm.
And I'll lead with this: Black Women Do Heal centers community
Hmm.
over isolation. And
Hmm.
so, why is communal rest and collective healing so essential?
Mm. Um, ooh, there in isolation, that's where we get caught up.
Yeah.
You get caught up in the echo chamber of your own thoughts.
Hmm.
Um, those those stories that you tell yourself when things aren't going well, you know. And in community, now you have somebody to share that with.
Hmm.
You get to know and understand that, oh, it's not just me. I'm
Hmm.
not alone. We are very transparent, and Black Women Do Heal, as you know, Transparency Tuesday.
Transparency Tuesday.
Right. And so in that space, we talk about the very real things that we go through.
Hmm.
I share my journey through recognizing I have learning I had bipolar disorder, um, how I started to take good care of me in that to be able to show up every day without judgment.
Hmm.
My neurospicying, right? No judgment,
Yeah.
but we share those very real things. Others share other examples from their stories, whatever they are for them, but no judgment in these spaces. And in that, one, you get the permission to be you, to show up
Hmm.
as you are. You get the permission to allow yourself to start to be cared for.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are so used to carrying the weight
Yes.
that we haven't allowed ourselves the permission to be supported and cared for.
Yes.
And it's easy to say, well, you need support, you need support, you need support. But the very real reality is it takes time in community. It takes time to build the rapport, to really grasp that you are safe enough in the space to be able to continue to do that, you know. And in community, that happens, but you are shedding and allowing people and these beautiful souls that are in community with us the permission and the grace to start to slowly shed the armor, start to slowly put that cape down so that they can feel and get the support that they need, that we need collectively. The other thing about collective support, care, and rest is that it's a reminder that our healing is tied together. This isn't, we're coming to help you because you need our help. This is, we are healing. We need each other. And our healing, our humanity is tied together. And
Yeah.
when one of us is doing well, one of us is healing, with one of us is doing life well, right?
Yes. Yes.
That that encourages your sister, that she can too.
Hmm.
That encourages her that, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Um, I can show up as me,
Yeah.
whatever that is not too much,
Yeah.
you know, that is just the right amount of whatever that is, whether you're on 10 or whether you just need to come and sit back in the background and just be in the space. That safety is here. So that collectiveness of being together, knowing you're not alone,
Hmm.
knowing that you have support should you need it, that is not pushy, nobody's trying to get into your business or anything like that, but we are here. That matters because life is challenging, but a lot of times, so many of the spaces that are supposed to be safe, that we're supposed to be caring and supportive, actually are not. What we're saying here is that we are collectively creating this safety. We're curating the space together. We're honoring each other in our journeys, your lived experiences. Nobody's discounting anybody's lived experience. And we're continually asking ourselves those questions to help us on this intentional healing journey to grow, to shed the things that are no longer serving us. And that's easier to do when you have somebody walking along with you, as opposed to being isolated by yourself or the
Yeah.
only person that maybe that is trying to do these things. Now you have a community that is walking with you. The other part too about rest is, again, some of the narratives that we've adopted,
Hmm.
um, again from this conditioning,
Yeah.
um, can have us just going, 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 and not actually taking the time that we need to step back and to care for ourselves. But when you have the opportunity, the profound opportunity to be in community, to rest together, you
Mm.
know, now I might not have the capacity yet to do it on my own, but maybe together when we're in this space, this is where I'm taking my breath, you
Mm.
know, and that's okay because it has to start somewhere, you know. So maybe this is when I come to group, maybe this is when we're at the event, this is how I'm starting to pour into me, and that's okay. So that collective permission
Mhm.
that you are doing this with each other.
Mhm.
And I'll say this last thing about community.
Mhm.
For so long, us gathering was a threat.
Mhm.
It was dangerous,
Mhm.
not because it actually was, but just
Right.
because
Right.
that is what it was perceived to be, right? And we are taking that narrative back. No, that's not what we're doing. We're dismantling that, you
Mhm.
know. Um, our intentional collectiveness was healing, actually. It is what kept us together, is what kept communities flowing, and that has been disrupted. Okay. We are not leaning into that separation. We're leaning into the togetherness and that we need one another for healing.
Yeah.
We need one another to grow. We need one another um, to heal.
Mhm.
Healing doesn't happen in a silo. And while
Mhm.
there are levels to it, where sometimes you need to step back
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you need moments of isolation. There are just some things that happen there. It was never meant for us to stay isolated,
That's right.
you know. And so by being in community, you're coming out of isolation, you're around other women, you're learning from these women, and guess what? They're learning from you too,
That's right.
you know. And in that way, now this flow of community is helping your intentional healing journey, even if it's just one thing somebody shared, and you're like, oh, I can take this and put this in my toolbox, you know. Oh, I can do 5 minutes to feel. Or, oh, I heard Coach Regina and I've been thinking about living that plant-based life,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Let me check this out. Let me ask more questions, right? In community, you get to come in and practice a little bit
Yeah.
in that care, right? And now go home with some tools, refreshed, and what have you. So, community is just where it's at. That togetherness is where it's at. Those honest, open, and transparent conversations
Yeah.
are where it's at. And the other part, which is, you know, just one of our core values, really, is that we do have those tough conversations. We are going to talk about those things that have been siloed or that have been shameful maybe to discuss, because we
Mm-hmm.
can't get to the other side of healing without having these conversations.
Yeah.
And so in community, in a safe space, we can start to talk about some of these things that really have been harmful to us, but in a way that relinquishes, you know, the burden, and now I can be free to let it go.
Mm. That right there. This has been a very rich conversation, very relevant and timely conversation. And so, for all those who are catching the replay, or if you're on live, dropping your comments, but make sure you share this communication out. Rest is not something that you have to earn. You know, prioritizing your wellness so that you can do life well is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just, be in the room. You want to be at the table and feeding yourself first, too. You know.
Yes.
So, Coach Cassie J,
Yes.
it's really been a pleasure. I'm going to have you back on, of course.
Yes.
But I gotta ask you, please share with the people, because we've been talking about rest and what that looks like in your journey. What is one practical takeaway for people? I know you gave the 5 minutes, but give them one rest action that they can lean into today.
Mm. So, one rest action that you can lean into today, if you are working, whether you're working a job, whether you're at home, mom, whether you work from home,
Mhm,
um, and you know, this seems small, but I
mhm,
promise it's not, is take your full lunch break. Like,
mm,
take your full lunch break. Whenever that is for you, that when you're doing that, you have put down the computer, you
mhm,
put down the phone, you are engaged, that there are people around, that you're actually going to engage with them and have a conversation with them, but that you are taking your actual lunch break.
mhm.
During that time, everything can burnt to the ground,
Can burn to the ground.
can burnt to the whole ground. Okay. But take your actual break. If you know that you're still waving some of those degrees and certifications from People
Uh-huh,
Please University, you're not quite
mhm,
out yet, you haven't started dismantling them, it's okay. Go away for lunch. If
mhm,
that means your vehicle, if that means the other side of the building, if that means the other break room where people aren't going to come find you,
mhm.
be very intentional to take your lunch break. Drink your water, your whatever, your juice. Take that break. No work involved. That includes
Uh-oh.
appointment setting for personal. Mm-mm, mm-mm. That's work.
Break. Take the break.
Take the actual break.
Take the full break.
Take the full break. If you're having trouble sitting there, maybe it's an audiobook. Maybe that's your favorite playlist that you're listening to while you're on the break. Maybe it's an actual physical book that you're reading. Maybe it is that you're sitting in a place where you can look out the window and see what's happening in nature, watch the cars go down the street,
Mm-hmm.
right? But take the actual lunch break. Now, a lot of you take it, but in that you're doing all the things, you're setting the appointments, you're checking on the kids, you're responding
Mm-hmm.
to text messages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Turn that phone upside down. If you have people that you know that are going to check on you, let them know as you're walking to break, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I'm going to hit you back later on. Okay, let them know you're safe. Let them know you're good. The sky has not fallen. And
Mm-hmm.
then turn that phone upside down, close your laptop, turn the computer, off, and take the actual break.
That's good. Simple but good. Take the
Mhm.
break, people. Coach Cassie J, how can people keep up with you, come up with you, connect with you, with Black Women Do Heal, and all the things that you have going on? Give us some updates. Tell us how they can stay connected to you.
So you can stay connected. You can find us online at blackwomendoheal.org. You can also find us on Instagram, Black Women Do Heal. Um, Black Women Do Heal, all spelled out. On LinkedIn, Black Women Do Heal, all spelled out. And on the Book of Faces, Black Women and is WMN Do Heal. So you can find us in all of those places. You can contact us via text or phone at 504-407-5131. Hit us up. And you can email us at healing@blackwomendoheal.org. You know, come on into the room.
Is there any event, or do you have a way that women can just connect with Black Women Do Heal on a regular basis? Or do you have anything coming up that you want to share with the community, whether it's women or men?
Yes, yes. We actually have our first social healing event coming
Okay.
up. Okay. And that is February 21st in New Orleans, Louisiana. We will be pulling up at the Allstate Legacy HBCU game. And so we are super excited about that. We just learned that the Boom will be doing the halftime show. What? So Sonic Boom in the house, right? You can get a free ticket to join us at the game by getting your t-shirt. And Coach Regina, show them that shirt. Show them that shirt. Ah,
Yes.
yes. And don't worry, fellas, we have one for you. Black Men Do Heal. Same uh, thing, just Black Men Do Heal. But come on, get your tickets. Join us. Hit us up and we'll send you the registration link and let's have a good time. You can bring the kiddos, you can bring your peeps. You can get as many tickets as you can get. Come on. But come on and let's have a great time because that part is just as much a part of healing as having these deep conversations are. So come on and join us for this social healing event. So we're super, super excited about that. The other thing we're really excited about as we are uh, in cohort 3 of our training is our registration for cohort 4 for our community
Okay.
healers is
Okay.
about to open up next
Tell us
week.
a little bit more about that, community healers, before we do that.
Yes.
That sounds
So
good.
yes, so community healing, that is where we are training individuals and walking along with them who are out here doing this work,
Mm-hmm.
who are doing coaching, who are therapists, who are teachers, who are out here doing work where your work literally has a level of emotional intelligence that you have to have every day.
Mm-hmm.
We are here to support. So we offer this training as a part to be able to help you walk along with people and to go out here and to become a coach as well. So cohort 4 will be opening up next week. We're super excited. Cohort 3 is on fire and we are okay. We are so excited. So definitely check us out. And then we have our fellas with Black Men Do Heal because we started Black Men Do Heal last year, that initiative, and they will be hosting their first event in July. So stay tuned, get connected with us so we can have some more of these healing conversations. And we are excited to be in community with you.
Thank you so much, Coach Cassie J. Y'all, the HBCU Legacy Bowl, New Orleans, Louisiana, first fundraiser, social connection, social healing event of the season for Black Women Do Heal. If you want to be a part of something greater than you, make sure you connect with Black Women Do Heal and the community work that is currently going on. And so, before you go, this is just a general reminder: rest is not something you earn after you do everything else. It's how you stay aligned as you figure things out. Coach Cassie J, thank you for your time this morning. I know it's time for you to pivot, but I so appreciate the conversation, and we shall return with further dialogue as we lean into and learn more about the work that you're doing and other opportunities that individuals, communities, organizations can partner and sponsor with the work of Black Women Do Heal and Black Men Do Heal.
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly been a joy, and I'm looking forward to more conversations.
All right, you take care on this Figured Out Friday. We figured out a lot today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, talk to you later.